Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Hello and welcome to Crosstalk on Enterprise TV. Today, Supreme Court insists Nnamdi Kanu must face treason trial, sets aside appeal court judgment. Now, for the incarcerated leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, the road to freedom is not yet. The Supreme Court overruled the verdict of the appellate court, which had earlier freed him and therefore declined to order his release. Justice Agim, who read the lead judgment, held that although the federal government recklessly and unlawfully rendered Kanu from Kenya, such an act has not divested, that is, deprived any court in Nigeria from proceeding with the trial of Nnamdi. For him, the waiting continues. But should he have been released? The big debate rages on. Welcome. Let's meet the two combatants. I have to my right, town planner, biographer, and political commentator, Tochukwu Izukama. Tochukwu, I greet you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Jones. Thank you for having me.
And to my left, we have Cyril Abaku, who is a broadcaster and communications expert. I greet you, Cyril.
I'm glad to be here, Citizen Jones.
Yeah, gentlemen, so on December 15th, the Supreme Court, the apex court in the land, gave a verdict and did not order the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. And the man on the street had expected that Nnamdi Kanu would be released. And we hear things like, release Nnamdi Kanu. It is going to lessen tension in the southeast of Nigeria. So the waiting continues.
Yes, the waiting continues. Well, I think the Supreme Court did the right thing. Nnamdi Kanu is not squeaky clean. Nnamdi Kanu is not innocent. Nnamdi Kanu
is not guilty because he has not been tried.
Is not guilty, yes. He has not been tried. So whatever are cases against him, there are a number of cases pending against him. That is why it's very important that he go through a trial so that the court decides his guilt or his innocence. Yeah. Yes, so it's good that he's going back for trial. So I am all in support of the Supreme Court and its verdict.
Yes, Cyril.
The Supreme Court couldn't have admitted the wrongdoing of the federal government, which a lower court did, and therefore awarded relief to Nnamdi Kanu. And then, having acknowledged that the federal government didn't do the right thing by his extraordinary rendition, overlooked it, and said the matter should go back to trial. What they should have done is, even if the matter was to go back to trial, there must be a remedy for the wrong of the federal government. Otherwise, you're saying that wrong can lead to right, which is strange to law. After all, what is law for? Law is meant to uphold the right of every man until he's proven guilty. But Nnamdi Kanu is not yet proven guilty. There was a matter that the lower court saw and said the way and manner in which he was renditioned was questionable. The court admitted it, the upper court, and then chose to ignore. It means you are telling us now that wrong can lead to right. I find that very questionable.
The thing is that the Constitution of Nigeria holds it that the unity of Nigeria is inviolable. Many countries of the world have such, the Constitution of many countries of the world uphold the inviolability of the unity of these countries. We always refer to the US as the bastion of freedom, the ultimate democracy. But the unity of US is inviolable. If you try to dismember the United States of America, of course you get into trouble. You'll be arrested, prosecuted, and most likely jailed. China is, the sovereignty of China is not violable, it's inviolable. So why would the unity of Nigeria be negotiable? Why would the unity of Nigeria not be sacrosanct? So a man that goes talking about the dismemberment of Nigeria, it's committing a crime. Yes, that's what it is. So then you declared war on Nigeria. Say, kill the soldiers, take their guns, kill more people. That's
Nnamdi described Nigeria as a zoo.
as a zoo. So
Okay.
he has already declared war on Nigeria. He set up ESN and all that metamorphosed from it. And they attack soldiers, attack policemen. You're already warring against Nigeria. Therefore, going to Kenya to sprint him from Kenya to Nigeria is part of that war, to capture your enemy. It's an element of the war, a part of war. So I don't see it may not have been done in the best possible form, but in war, everything is fair.
Yeah.
Nigeria cannot break the law to keep its own laws. It doesn't happen that way. The question of extraordinary rendition is recognized internationally. You couldn't have gone to do what, apply that kind of brute force. The matter is in court. And again, I agree with Ojuku that if in America you want to dismember the country, you'll be arrested, prosecuted, jailed. For me, those are very big words. What happens to you is that you will face the law. And let us be guided. The law is not what a book says the law is. The law is what a court of competent jurisdiction says the law is. And in this case, if the federal government had deemed it fit that, because Nnamdi Kanu said, kill people and do X, Y, Z, why didn't the national government get to him first and kill him? They could have done that, but they didn't kill him. They wanted him to face the law. Why?
Nnamdi Kanu was not in the country.
No, it's fine. But he was in the country. Okay, so let's even face it.
He escaped.
I'm coming to it. At the time, why did he escape?
He felt threatened.
Well, okay, so let me even go back to the basics. First, he was on trial. The court said grant him bail. He was granted bail on conditions, right? You cannot address, you can't gather in a place of 120 persons. You can't address the public and so on and so forth. Those things were there. Did Nnamdi Kanu break those things? I think he did. But the matter was even here to come to court. Suddenly, the government took, not even the police, soldiers. In the course of doing that, people of his household were killed. Who has paid for that? Now that Nnamdi Kanu fled and came, my contention is, if the process, and the judge did say it, the judge acknowledged the fact that you cannot go and, in trying to make an arrest or do whatever it is, break into somebody's house, scatter things, and then the law will be what's it called? Will be blind to that. It's not done in law. The lower court was very right. Was very straightforward and said, this man, enough of the jamboree now, let him be granted bail. Allow him. The terms of your prosecution are entirely groundless. The federal government didn't even want to pay that judgment. Later on, we had that appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court is saying that even when they acknowledge that the procedure of getting him was faulty, that it didn't matter. What then matters?
But the law is not blind to the invasion of his house and his rendition to Nigeria. But does that automatically obviate his own crime or the accusations against him?
No, but
you can say the federal government. You can say the federal government handled the matter wrongly, but you cannot say that this man.
Do you accept that they handled wrongly?
I am not a lawyer, and it's been arguable. Some are saying yes, some are not saying yes, some are saying no. As far as I'm concerned,
yes,
it was done wrongly, but fair in warfare. And he had declared war on the Nigerian state. You were giving a bail and giving conditions.
Then he should have been killed. They would have shot him and killed him and said, he declared war on Nigeria, therefore just shoot him and kill him.
That was an option. That was just an option.
That could have been fair.
That was just an option. There were different options and they made a choice. They chose one of them. No, that's your opinion. You're the one that said they should have killed him.
Because he said it was war. And so you said extraordinary rendition was part of warfare. So why don't you go the whole hog in warfare? Because
I don't read minds. I don't know why they didn't go the whole hog. But the thing is,
to kill him.
What they did,
extrajudicially.
What they did, it couldn't have been extrajudicially. There was war.
Was he armed? There was use of engagement for goodness sake. The thing is that an armed combatant cannot be engaged with lethal force.
Okay, that's why he was captured You can capture
It's
an
not capture.
armed.
It is called extraordinary rendition.
Those are colorful loyally.
No, but that's
The bottom line.
law.
The bottom line is that he was captured.
When
In
the
street
government-
man's parlance,
When the
he
government breaks
was
the law,
captured.
and now the question is that when the government breaks the law, what moral authority do they now have?
The government may have broken the law, but that does not take away the accusation.
So how do you award remedies for the law that was broken against the
That's a case.
the public? Government does not have cannot have absolute power. Power is vested in the constitution. Is vested in laws.
And the man who is violating the constitution, breaching the constitution already is committing a crime.
That's what you call
Yeah,
it.
that's there.
How do you prove that he has broken the law? It is
Take him to court.
So-
And that's what the Supreme Court said, go back to court and get tried. When the house was invaded, you had a bail and you had the bail conditions. You breached every stipulation of the bail condition and you became a handful for the Igbo political elite in the southeast. So they needed to handle this man. How can a non-government actor be disrupting the peace of the state? The governors, the Igbo political elite, were in collusion in that invasion of his house. You can go and you go to equity with clean hands. So if you are breaching the conditions of your bail, you can argue that this man needs to be rearrested. And to rearrest a man like that, you need to use reasonable force. And what is reasonable force? In dealing with a man who has his supporters armed, his place was something of an encampment with
A mecca of sorts.
Oh yeah, with armed men, all kinds of violent people. So the reasonable force might have been shooting, arresting, killing. Fela's house
How many soldiers? How many soldiers?
were involved.
No. Since you said going to his house was war, how many soldiers then, since they were armed and went to his family house, I think in Afaruku, how many soldiers were killed in the if it was combat?
I didn't say
It was his family
I didn't
house.
say it was a combat. He breached the law. They went to arrest him, and in arresting him, there was need for reasonable
Are you
force.
talking of
And
Kenya or
what is
Nigeria?
Nigeria? And what is reasonable force? Reasonable force is determined by the insinuating circumstances. The reasonable force you use in arresting a number of nuns will not be
So
the
the
same.
question is, when you heard this, so what did the soldiers, what did they do?
Armed
And there was a shootout.
supporters.
And there was a
No,
shootout.
they were taken by surprise. I don't know if the Kanu escaped. It was a surprise attack. They were not prepared like the guys in Enugu. Emene fought back and killed some DSS officials. So, but that was use of reasonable.
So they arrested the people they found there. These are very new theories to me, I must confess.
Some people
Because
call it
I
the
did,
process.
at the time, there was no report of they went to that place and there was a shootout or that they arrested these members who were armed. But the reality of on the ground is that where two wrongs have occurred, there must be equal and appropriate remedy for both parties.
Yes.
Where the court is now awarding exclusive remedies to the federal government at the expense of the liberty of a citizen, that's collusion, that's conspiracy.
But there's been an award made to him when they say he has to be paid a certain amount in earlier rulings. There's been a lot of rulings, earlier ruling, and be apologized to. So there's been offense on both sides. And there should be trial on both sides and rulings on both sides. So let him go back to court, let him get tried. If the court set him free, that's fine. If the court convicted,
so
that's fine.
Fine, of course.
Yes.
I'm not also opposed to Nnamdi standing trial. Listening to the sort of things Nnamdi Kanu say sometimes can drive one. You ask him,
Insane.
Is this guy good? But the point is this: if we are a society built and based on laws, why delay the justice? Why give?
If Nigeria is the zoo,
Is
already saying.
why? Come on. The laws are broken every day. People in government steal money all the time.
Yes.
We hear that monkeys and baboons are
Swallowing money.
It's fine. The matter is that the judges and courts and people are not supposed to be conscious, are not supposed to come to a matter with prejudiced,
Positions.
You come and it's called adjudication. And in this case, we are saying the lower court was what's the word? Acquitted itself, gave a good account. He said, this man, you couldn't have brought him to court this way, and then expect us to give you job. Go and explain, or you either tell us how you got him, or there will be no case. The federal government has not been able to answer that question to this day. They know not only Nnamdi Kanu, but every single citizen of Nigeria as an explanation as to how Kanu was brought back to Nigeria.
Okay.
It's about the details as to what transpired.
Exactly.
As details as to what transpired in the process of
No.
bringing in.
No. How did you get Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria?
You rendered him.
No. That's what is being reported in the media. What did the government say? How did they say the
So you want a detail of what happened, the process of bringing him. We arrested him, held him for 2 days, commandeered a plane and brought him to Nigeria. Is that what you mean?
Is that what they did?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Gentlemen, so the Supreme Court did the right thing, in your opinion,
Yes.
by asking that he be properly tried.
Yes.
Cyril and Tochukwu, treason is a capital offense.
Of course.
And we know the names Awolowo and MKO will come to mind in this regard. They didn't end well. So that the Supreme Court could not or didn't or failed to ask that Nnamdi be released on bail was going against the grain of public opinion?
No. Was going against the law itself. The law by which Kanu is being tried. The lower court acted wisely, acted within the ambit of law. Wherever there is an injury, there must be remedy.
Yes.
Isn't that why the court, the law is there? If there was no injury, when you comply with laid down rules, I want to think that there's a reward for it, or there's an award of. So, but where there's an injury, there must be remedy. Why is the federal government shirking from its responsibility of awarding remedies? And Kanu, after the court said they should grant him bail or should be set free, the federal government didn't obey that ruling. You remember under Buhari?
Way back.
Now the question is, should we be dancing with the federal government? Today may be on the Kanu storm. Tomorrow it could be anybody. Because once a particular way, the court begin to behave a particular way, they set a precedent. And my personal concern is that what happens to one person is potentially happening to that person, because the reality is tomorrow, someone else has a similar, and they say in Kanu versus federal government, they said that even when the government did the thing, brought him to court or began prosecution the wrong way, it still wouldn't matter. It matters. Government must learn to act within the ambit of the law that is guiding the state. They are not special. We are all equal before the law.
Yeah, the thing is that to have been granted bail and the federal government refused to release him was wrong. But governments periodically disobey court orders. Bill Clinton disobeyed a number of court orders, and let me remember, not the producer. It happens, and that does not. Yes, and a few other earlier presidents. I don't readily remember their names. So that the court disobeyed, the government disobeyed a court order does not automatically subvert the rule of law in Nigeria and undermine Nigerian democracy, because sometimes government are privy to information not readily available to the public, and can under certain circumstances choose to disobey court orders.
And this public gentleman is bound to be swayed by emotion and so on.
Undoubtedly.
So you hear things like Kanu should be, in the spirit of the coming Christmas, should be released to douse tension in the southeast.
Douse tension.
Yes,
the tension.
And help perhaps to stop the mass killings.
The tension is Biafranism generated. The mass killing is a question of law enforcement. And when the government cannot enforce the law and must go release a certain man who has not been tried, who has not been proven innocent, so as to stem violence in an area, that country is a banana republic. It's a yo-yo republic. It's a failed state. You should be able to secure the welfare and the security of the people.
I want to add therefore that the failure of the state is not because the man has the key to bring in peace. It is because government has failed.
Yeah, so you should allow justice.
So they don't rub that same failure on a man.
We're not rubbing failure on a man. Don't release him because, in order to douse tension. Release him because a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled on his case and said he's innocent.
The coalition of northern groups has said was, done was, threatened was, promised was, Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
Back then, the reason they gave for why they couldn't arrest them was because they said when they went to pick them, they were in the marketplace, and in the market they couldn't go into the market to arrest to pick them up and say, so.
These are individuals, not an individuals.
Of course.
Not an individual. The problem is this. You see Sunday Boho, you see some renegade elements in the north. You cannot compare them with Nnamdi Kanu. You know why? Because in Yoruba land, nobody goes against the power structure, the elders, the culture, and have any form of fellowship. Everybody will abandon him. In Igbo land, renegades emerge from anywhere and insult the Obi of Onitsha, insult the Ezenri, insult the elders, insult Igbo governors, and then have mass following. There are too many Lone Rangers survive in Igbo land.
You blame the mass or you blame the people?
No, I'm not blaming anybody in this case, but I'm just saying that you cannot compare what is happening in the north and the west with what is happening in
Cyril, he's simply saying that prior to now, the southeast of Nigeria was relatively peaceful until when the Biafra thing came in.
And you started killing people because they came out on Mondays. IPOP initially started that, when with time backpedaling. Why kill innocent people? Because they came out on Monday, day your Onyendu leader is going to court. Burn up businesses, destroy things. So Nnamdi Kanu is a man that needs to be tried. Nnamdi Kanu is not a man that should walk away just freely like that, because he has caused a lot of problems.
The federal government is a government that should be tried.
Yeah, you can try the federal government, but it does not in any way. It does not in any way. Yeah.
Misdoing.
I agree with you in that aspect.
Not only because of Nnamdi Kanu's extraordinary ambition, but because the federal government chooses to try whom they think they want to try, and allows to work free those that they think should work free. My other argument up to this point is it everybody that has committed treason, and I dare say high treason against the Nigerian state, that is being hounded? And, so I mean, if you make one scapegoat,
it's like arresting a
No, just a minute, Cyril. Late Chief MK Abiola cannot be said to have been a scapegoat. Late Awolowo.
I'm talking of Kanu's generation. Late MK Abiola said that he had won the election, declared himself president. I said he should be sworn in, if I remember very well. I think Ekwetedo or something in Lagos, yes. And they sent a detachment of the Nigerian police, led by I think Mike Okiru also, to go and pick him up. Good. But even when you look at that particular incident, did he win the election? Of course he did. In later years, he has not been affirmed, as the winner of that election. So it's fine. But as at the time, there was a government in power, and he was saying he had been elected president and he was lead president. I think that
act was treasonable.
Was an overreach, But even in the case of MK, he wasn't tried and executed.
He was in detention indefinitely, and died in detention.
Because government was careful of the political implications of any untoward action that they could take. It was
purely a political issue.
In the case of Chief of Government Awolowo, he was in Calabar prisons.
Yes, he
was imprisoned.
And his case was purely political.
But you see, and my concern is
that hold on, gentlemen.
Yes.
Cyril and Tochukwu, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a political prisoner?
No, he is. He is.
How political a prisoner is he?
let me explain it. Let me now bring a point out. In Nasir El-Rufai's memoirs, he did say that at the time the Abuja demolitions took place under Obasanjo, 2003 or thereabout, that they had approached the judges to tell them, this is what government wants to do, please. If any case comes to your table, adjudicate it in our favor, pleaded with the judges, and they got favorable judgments. It is possible that government has also gone back to say, Supreme Court, please, this matter is serious for us. X, Y, Z. You look at the track record. The issue of not granting relief for the rendition is not the only unlawful thing that has done against Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah.
Going to attack his and kill his family. Who has paid for that?
He didn't kill his family.
Who has paid for
The father and mother died.
Innocent people died.
Innocent people died.
So the question is, the way and manner in which government, I'm not a fan of Nnamdi Kanu, neither do I support Biafra, God knows. But the point is that for as long as this man is a Nigerian and is being tried under our laws, due process must be followed.
Just a minute. Tochukwu, Cyril insists Kanu is a political prisoner. You are saying no.
No. You can't kill so many innocent people for trivial issues or things like coming out to run their daily business, to feed their children. When this sit at home started, it was time for WAEC, NACO and WAEC. Those kids could not take their exams. Why are you destroying a whole geopolitical zone just for the selfish, for the ego of one man? I have so much against. Abiola did not kill anybody. He just claimed, I'm the new president. Obafemi Awolowo did not kill his people. He was accused of treason. But this man has systematically...
Awolowo was accused in the First Republic of stockpiling arms and...
Yeah, to overthrow the federal government.
Yes.
Has systematically, methodically disrupted the Southeast. And Southeast has lost so much money. So it's talking about he's not the only one ever accused of treason. Some of them in the north are walking about unmolested. It's like arresting a thief at Oshodi, and he said, why are you arresting me? Don't you know there are thieves at Ikeja? There are thieves. No, I'm talking about crime in general. I'm talking about crime in general. No, it's breaking the law. You arrest a man for breaking the law.
Just a minute, gentlemen, we're halfway through. Let's remind the viewer that this is Crosstalk on Enterprise TV. Well, the debate might be hot, might, in your opinion, be intemperate, but that's the name of the game. The two combatants will take a breather. We'll be back shortly. Please stay. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. All right, folks, welcome back. Let's take our debate to a logical conclusion. Supreme Court insists Nnamdi Kanu must face treason trial, sets aside appeal court judgment. Let's begin to costume. Yes, Cyril. So, to you, Nnamdi Kanu is a political prisoner and should be treated as such.
He definitely is, as a matter of fact.
Are you thinking of a political solution to the whole thing?
Yes, I'm thinking of such.
Tochukwu, a political solution? Or you insist the man must go through trial?
He should be tried and set free or convicted. There's no basis for political solution. The man, for one, does not represent the Igbos. So, like, I think it was the former leader of Ohanese said it. If the Igbos are to secede, this is not the man to speak for us. So Igbos have their grievances. He's not the man to negotiate for the Igbos. So talking about political solution with a renegade, a troublemaker, a Confucianist, who has brought so much trouble to his people, with the sit at home, burning people's businesses, killing innocent people, just for stepping out of their home to go fend for their family. He's not the man.
Might we, just a minute, might we inject the Simon Ekpa angle to the whole thing?
Simon Ekpa is another loose cannon. I think he's operating on his own. He calls himself the autopilot. These are people who are failures for the most part. The father of neo-Biafranism, Rafo Wazirike, is a failed lawyer. And he stated it succinctly. When I started talking about Biafra, I'm quoting him, I didn't know what I was doing. But since democracy allowed me the freedom to speak, I started talking and people started listening to me, and I continued to talk about an issue that concerns millions of people, that can determine life and death for so many individuals, prosperity or poverty for so many individuals without knowing what you're doing. It's reckless and even criminal. And that's what is continuing. People doing things, they don't know what they are doing, but it gives them money and publicity.
All right, Cyril.
No, when I said that a political solution may be what it will be needed in the Nnamdi Kanu case, I didn't mean secession in any way. What I mean is that the federal government has shown time and again that they are prejudiced in the prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu. And to that extent, if they don't have faith in their own courts to solve the problem of Nnamdi Kanu, and perhaps the exception of the Southeast, look for a political solution. The other day, it was the late Chief Mbazuli Kamechi that led a delegation of who is who in Igbo land to meet the former President Buhari. I thought that something good was going to come out of it. Nothing good came out of it. Governors Peter Mba and I think Soludo of Anambra have gone to meet the president several times. The release man to us, we can take up the issue. It doesn't appear to me that the federal government means well for the peace and stability of the Southeast. And there's
but if Nnamdi Kanu is released today,
yes,
do you see the end of the Biafra dream?
Not necessarily. Biafra is beyond Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm not a spokesman for Biafra. I'm only concerned about peace and security and stability in the Southeast. But if releasing him would have made room for some sort of calm, the calming of redness in the Southeast, perhaps the courts, you see, the thing is this, the courts are not oblivious to what is going on in society. Chapter 6 of the Constitution gives them that power. And then again, you will hear it written in our laws that the court can take judicial notice of what is going on in society. This is why a court of law can look at what's going on in society and tell and realize that a judgment cannot be awarded when it will lead to people dying in mass, for example. No judge will do that. So the judges can look at matters and give reasonable, sound judgment. That's what I'm saying. That look, the court of it is clear. It is tied in law. You have two parties come with injuries inflicted on both sides by both parties.
There must be remedy.
You overlook one and about them to the other. Come on, that's pure prejudice and bias.
Gentlemen, we must draw the debate to a close, but not before thanking Tochukwu Izukama. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Cyril Abaku.
A pleasure.
There will be Crosstalk the next time around. Join us then. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye. Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.